was alone, and that he made a bad decision. 11 months ago, Lucian Greaves, as chief handler on Twitter, I guess it's called X, offered me any amount of money I wanted if I would just stop. And I told him no, because I felt I needed to protect people's kids and all of that. But you want to know what? I've started to think I made the wrong decision. Because other than lip service of thoughts and prayers, the 2.5 months that I've actually asked for donations, I've raised about $350, and Thomas was 100 of that. And he's a bad dude. So why am I fighting so hard for people's kids? In the end, people's hearts grow cold, and they're not even aware of it. But those of us, and you'll have all of the people, not me, my heart's not cold, my heart is warm, I love God. But fuck the kids, and fuck anyone who would help them. I'm making out a desperate call to help with any contribution you can give. I'm not a grifter. I've been at this for 2 decades and have spent my own money, my own resources, my own time, and it's taken a lot of time, for 2 decades now. And now that I've been asking because I'm in serious need for the last 2.5 months, now I'm suddenly a grifter, or a LARP. And I'm not even really sure what that is. I don't have a freaking clue what a live action role player is, because I'm not a gamer. I've been involved with this for a long time, before a lot of these idiots even came onto the field. And they are on top of me. Not just online, in real life. And so, next door, in my neighborhood, my sheriff, and I'm trying to do the right thing. But really, when it comes down to it, I'm starting to wonder if I made the wrong decision with Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Maybe I should have taken his money and said, fuck the kids. I guess that's how everyone else feels. Why not? Why shouldn't I have jumped on that wagon? At least I wouldn't be suffering like I am now. So, if you can donate, you can. I would so appreciate it. But in the end, there's a reason why Isaac Happy felt like he was alone. And he reached out to the bad guys who ended up doing what they did to him. Because no one else was there. Because all this has ever been for people is entertainment. And that's sad. So I'll leave my PayPal and Venmo, see what happens,
All right. Let's get this party started.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game, sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. just can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream. Truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme. Chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows. But baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole. So last night I was doing a stream and I mentioned David Shurter a few times and I really didn't get to showing this. I wanted to show this video last night about David Shurter's admittance of taking Thomas Schoenberger's money, $100. And this video was done a year ago. I'm going to show you that timestamp here. Let me adjust this. If you look at this, it says it has 405 views, and it was uploaded a year ago. But what's interesting about it, it's like he's saying the same thing that he said today. There is comments of a guy named Chief Handler on Twitter. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to X. He says, and look up. I know I saw the account Chief Handler before. And I believe that account has been, here it is, has been associated. In fact, I pulled it up. I'm gonna have you we're gonna take a look at the account just in general. But there's an account named Chief Handler, and they were created in 2023. It has 0 followers, and it's following 0 people, which is kind of interesting. But I know I've seen that name before associated with this echo chamber of YouTube. Maybe it's on YouTube, but that name has circulated. So apparently David is talking about how this Chief Handler account wanted to pay him off. And what's interesting is today he talks about how he got an offer of being paid off and he almost wanted to do it. It's like the same story twice, and he mentions Thomas Schoenberger, but now he believes Thomas Schoenberger tried to send him $10. So when I was talking to David Shurter, the only time I ever talked to him, he admitted to me in our conversation that he had accepted $100 from Thomas Schoenberger, and he was arguing with him that he was a bad guy. And I know you gave me $100, but I don't owe anything to you kind of conversation. And I showed it. I've showed it several times. I've posted it on my YouTube community page, and I probably did an X post. I can't remember, but I made sure that people knew that David Shurter had taken money from Thomas Schoenberger, that he had taken, and I made a point out of it. I said, Thomas Schoenberger, when he emailed me for the first time after he was in my chat when I did that stream with Denise Matau, the next day he found my email and emailed me, showered me with compliments, how great I dealt with all the drama, and that he wanted to give me some crypto. And I didn't accept it. because in the world of journalism, and again, don't ever think one time that I was like, oh my God, it's Thomas Schoenberger. I want to, I was always looking at Thomas Schoenberger from a reporting aspect. So I did not make that deal with Thomas Schoenberger because I have a different agenda than David Shurter does. So here is David Shurter. This is a video that he uploaded, and I'm just going to go ahead. I'll play a little bit of the beginning just to kind of give you a feel of how it started. But he really starts talking about the money and this and that around the 2-minute 50 mark. So I'm going to start it off like right here, and of course this is fair use, so we're just educating the public.
So this is just another example of how they're on top of me. I don't know who they think is paying me. And let me tell you something about Titus Frost. He was involved with the Pizzagate rally years ago in Washington, D.C. The dude that was hosting it went by the name of something Wolf. The dude paid for a plane ticket for me to come out to Washington, D.C.
Okay, so he starts off here, but you see right here, he's got my PayPal and Venmo is D Shurter. So the entire time, he's advertising for a donation. I mean, he's blatantly sourcing donations to support him and what he's doing and how he can't pay his bills because of the targeting that he has. Because of what he's doing with, exposing these child traffickers, he has suffered financially. Therefore, he continuously asks his audience to donate to him. And a lot of grifters, especially in the satanic ritual abuse child trafficking realm, has done that, from vegan Mikey to even Isaac Cappy. Everybody's done it. Right? So it's not just like I'm a content provider, and if you want to, support my channel and the information that I give you, you can, support me with, a super chat or whatever. That's a whole different story. That's a YouTube marketing paradigm. But this is grifting. And I'm going to take us to about right here, 248. I might be a little early, but stay with me.
11 months ago, Lucian Greaves, as chief handler on Twitter, I guess it's called X, offered me any amount of money I wanted if I would just stop. And I told him no, because I felt this. I needed to protect people's kids and all of that. But you want to know what? I've started to think I made the wrong decision, because other than lip service of thoughts and prayers, the 2.5 months that I've actually asked for donations, I've raised about $350, and Thomas was 100 of that, and he's a bad dude. So why am I fighting so hard for people's kids? In the end, people's hearts grow cold, and they're not even aware of it. But those of us, and you'll have all of the people, not me, my heart's not cold, my heart is warm, I love God. But fuck the kids, and fuck anyone who would help them. I'm making out a desperate call to help with any contribution you can give. I'm not a grifter. I've been at this for 2 decades and have spent my own money, my own resources, my own time, and it's taken a lot of time, for 2 decades now. And now that I've been asking because I'm in serious need for the last 2.5 months, now I'm suddenly a grifter, or a LARP. And I'm not even really sure what that is. I don't have a freaking clue what a live action role player is, because I'm not a gamer. I've been in...
there is Google, and you can actually educate yourself on what it is. It's very easy to understand. Anything you don't know, there's AI, there's all kinds of things that will prompt you with information that you can sift through and find out exactly what things are. So don't, this is like playing dumb. I don't even know what it says. I'm not a grifter. I don't do any of those things. But you're associated to the people that do. And you take their information. And you take their money.
Involved with this for a long time. Before a lot of these idiots even came onto the field. And they are on top of me. Not just online, in real life. And so, next door.
Yeah, join the club. I know that I can show proof of people calling my job. I know that I have those receipts, but where are your receipts that these things are happening? Okay, yeah. In the next video, he's going to talk about how he got flyers, but there's always something that people are doing to David. Always. Always. And then he asks money for it.
In my neighborhood, my sheriff, and I'm trying to do the...
Everybody's in on it. His sheriff, his neighbors, directed energy weapons. Everybody, he is just one big, people want to shut him up. That's the whole thing. And that's his whole premise, to ask you for your money.
Right thing. But really, when it comes down to it, I'm starting to wonder if I made the wrong decision with Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Maybe I should have taken his money and said, fuck the kids. I guess that's how everyone else feels. Why not? Why shouldn't I have jumped on that wagon? At least I wouldn't be suffering like I am now. So, if you can donate, you can. I would so appreciate it. But in the end, there's a reason why Isaac Happy felt like he was alone. And he reached out to the bad guys who ended up doing what they did to him. Because no one else was there. Because all this has ever been for people is entertainment. And that's sad.
Okay, yeah, you know what's sad is that you have falsely accused people of being satanic pedophiles and murdering and trafficking children with no evidence for entertainment. And somebody's been paying you for that, David. They've been paying you for you to lie. And then, where is the real hardcore evidence that his story, that he said, his book? So he wrote a book. Just because you write a book doesn't mean that what's in the book is true. It's only from, there's no way of corroborating what he says as being factual. It is a self-testimony of who he is and how he's a survivor of satanic ritual abuse and how he's an advocate. So I'm going to stop the share here, and you know what? I'd like to take a look at. Let's go to what he said today, because what's weird is that it mirrors. All right. I took myself out for a second. This mirrors today. A year later, he is saying pretty much the same thing. And last night, I was going to play this video last night and do some commentary on it, but my show ran way longer than I wanted to. And, so I ran out of time and a little bit of steam. And then today he does this video, and it's like, oh, it was important for me not to do this last night and do it today, because it's just so uncanny how what he says is almost the same thing that he said today. And so let me go to David's profile here and go to his video today, which he did. I'm going to do a screen share. All right. And this is his recent video that he has. David Shurter Live. I've never claimed Gabe Hoffman is Mossad. I maintain he is CIA. I maintain he's CIA under Aquino. So, according to David, Michael Aquino's still alive. He has passed away. I mean, that's the official record. He's not alive anymore. But he says he's still alive, and now he's CIA. And David Hoffman, David Hoffman. All right, Gabe Hoffman is it's funny. You just change the names. David Hoffman and Gabe Shurter. Okay. Anyway, he's saying that he's not Mossad. He's not Mossad. He never said he was Mossad ever. That he's only said that he's not being anti-Semitic. All right. And the reason why I find this conversation to be interesting is last night I was talking about the underbelly of anti-Semitism within this group. And I made mention of the song Brackets and Jackets, and how Isaac Happy was riffing off of suggestions in the chat. And one of them was Mossad, media matrix. And so within these conspiracies there's a Mossad media matrix responsible or behind it. Obviously there isn't evidence and talk that Jeffrey Epstein was connected to the Mossad intelligence. And Ghislaine Maxwell, her father was. All right. So there is that in that realm. But the association has been put into Gabe Hoffman, and it has been mentioned. And so I'm going to touch on that a little bit more. And I was talking about that. And it's so weird. It's not weird. It's not a coincidence that this is now in the title of his video, even though David Shurter claims he doesn't listen to me. It's too much of a follow-up. It's too much of a, it's like, oh, the next day now he's talking about that. So either, this is my theory. Either, Team Thomas Schoenberger, maybe it's Johnny Dubb, Sharon, whatever, but the passing on is those words, Mossad Media Matrix, that I said last night. And or David is actually watching me. He watches me way more than he admits that he does, because he wants to appear that I'm insequential. Like nothing that I say really matters, so why should I even bother mentioning it anyways? So here is this is somebody, I guess, Kino Rules at Kino Rules. I don't know. I guess emailed him or left a message or whatever. It's somebody who doesn't matter, really. This is some sort of sock, some sort of something, right? We don't know who it is, but David uses it as if it's some sort of truth about him. Is it any wonder you are isolated? You invent things and throw accusations like an octopus squirts ink. Take, for instance, what you said about Mr. Hoffman. You showed no respect. If he is Mossad, why has he never been to Israel? So this is somebody that is poking that beehive. They're poking it. They're poking like what I said last night to him, to prompt him to start talking about the same thing. That's my theory. Like, David Shurter wasn't up at 10 o'clock at night watching me. Somebody who wrote this was up at 10 o'clock at night, if they're on the East Coast or wherever, was watching me. And they used what I said in my argument and my assessment that I'm saying about the group that are that are somewhat connected to Kiwi Farms. In fact, the group, the people, the source that David Shurter used against Gabe Hoffman was a white nationalist and an anti-Semite. That's the point, that David does not have the discernment or the wherewithal to accept, like Kiwi Farms, a Kiwi Farms link, a website that Cloudflare took it off the internet for being such a hate site that it was even taken off the internet, or made it harder for you to access the website. Really, it's still on the internet. That's the point here. And, David tries to do everything he can to deflect it. And I'm going to play it now. We're going to watch how similar this is to what I just played that he said a year ago. His script never really changes. His grift is always the same. Just maybe the names change slightly, but it's the same thing.
Oh, I was going to wait till tomorrow to do one of these lives, but seems as how I've worried people in town, I kind of just disappeared for the week. I wanted to come on here and make sure that everyone knew that I was okay. I'll start off by saying that someone keeps leaving. It's the same. It's a different account. They've done it twice, calling me out, saying that I'm isolated because I called Gabe Hoffman out as being Mossad. I've never said that Gabe Hoffman is Mossad, ever. I don't believe it. He works under Michael Aquino. Michael Aquino was CIA.
He works under a dead guy, David. That's what you're saying. Michael Aquino is not alive anymore. And you're saying he's working under him and he's actually CIA. I don't know if Aquino was CIA or not. I don't think that's in his bio. He's military intelligence. Maybe he works for the CIA. Maybe he is CIA. I don't know. But you can't assume things that aren't really factual, that there's not real evidence that that's the truth. And he's actually saying, he's stretching it so much to get off of this topic. His excuse is, oh no, he's really working with Michael Aquino, who is CIA. He's working with a dead man, is what David Shurter is telling people.
Mossad. And so, I kind of have a glare. Maybe that's a little bit better. Because it's winter time.
David, I'm going to give you a little tip about your videos, and it bugs the shit out of me. You have too much headroom up here. Your head is way below the top line. You need to bring your camera down and center it to where you're framed correctly. Please do that. I really like to have somebody frame themselves correctly when they're talking shit about me. Is that okay, David?
Move back up into my room. And my rooms are small, so it kind of gets congested. But I believe that Gabe Hoffman works under Michael Aquino. Michael Aquino doesn't work for Mossad. Michael Aquino works for the CIA. I believe that Thomas Schoenberger is CIA.
Of course Michael Aquino doesn't work for the Mossad because he was an American citizen. It would be highly unlikely. I'm sure, well, Jeffrey Epstein did. Yeah, he was an American. I guess I'm wrong about that. But, it's just like, there's such a stupid thing to say, really.
I believe Gabe Hoffman, again, is CIA, not Mossad.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Right? Think about it every day. Uh-huh.
I didn't agree with everything, obviously, that Isaac Cappy said. And I didn't know a whole lot about what he was involved with when he was alive, because he was more interested in Aquino. My contention is, just for the simple fact that he had 4 of Michael Aquino's phone numbers, and he was harassing the shit out of Michael Aquino with those 4 phone numbers, was enough to get him murdered, which is what I told him in our last conversation. You know,
You know, like, are we all supposed to know this? You know, okay.
I just didn't see the point of him calling and harassing Michael Aquino, and I knew where it would have, you know, I knew where it would go. I have gotten mentions. I've stopped looking at them, and now the emails that I get, I just fucking block. I take screenshots to show that I got them, and then I report them as junk. Because this last week, it is funny because I have been tempted spiritually a couple times now. And I mean hard. The first example is I had people who told me, why don't you take them up on their offer? Why don't you let them give you $2,500 so I can pay my taxes and I don't lose my house at the first of the year, and just take all my shit down? And
that wasn't that what he just was contemplating a year ago? Like, somebody offered him money to take care of everything if he would just shut up. The same thing happened a year ago. Now it's happening again. I guess David doesn't think we're going to figure this out.
they offered. Why didn't I accept it? My first reaction was fuck no. But I have to say that I had to think about it. And I had
well, here's how the grift goes. He was offered like money. He was offered like he was offered to make a deal with the devil to sell out and take him off his mission of saving children. But really, he was tempted. He had to think about it because he's so desperate to pay for this or that, or now it's the back taxes to his for his house. And he's going to lose his house, and so it's a big temptation. So since I am big enough and I believe in God enough, and I'm sacrificing for you guys and for the greater good, I'm asking you one more time to give me that donation to pay for that taxes on my house. This is exactly what this grift is. Look how he's looking down. He's sullen. He's having on hard times. He is a beaten down warrior to save children. Now give me your fucking money. That is exactly what he's doing right now.
Consider it because who said it was counsel that I appreciate. And so I had to think about it. And I realized that making a deal with the devil never goes well. And I know that for the most part right now, I stand alone. There's a handful of you out there who actually stand with me. But for the most part, and I do it because it's the right thing.
Thomas Schoenberger stands with you. He gives you money, David. You got that guy standing with you. He's got a reason to give you money.
Doing is the right thing. They can call me a grifter all they want. I never even asked for a dime of donations until 2 years ago.
Oh, no, that's not true, but okay.
Way back when I was in Seattle, I ended up trying to do a GoFundMe, but it didn't go. I didn't promote it. I didn't do anything with it. Didn't do anything with it. They'll say that, oh. I
wonder why he's clearing his voice so much. Because he's a liar, maybe?
He had a GoFundMe account, but nothing was raised. And then I just kind of dismissed it. So really, for the last 2 years is the first time I've ever asked for anything. and I watch podcasts.
You like, okay, at least a year ago, like I just showed a video where you had it on it. Donate, here's my Venmo and my PayPal. Here's my Venmo and my PayPal. You say it over and over and over again. You always do the ask at the end of your video. Sometimes you even pray in front of it. I guess you think because if you pray to God, people are going to be more generous and go, you know what? I'm going to give this godly man that saves children money because they're trying to shut him down.
And I watch shit on YouTube, and every single one of them asks for contributions and donations. So I don't know why they're going up my ass about it, calling me a grifter.
Well, you know what? That's not really a solid argument because the whole thing about being a content provider on YouTube or doing videos, like, you know, I have a little bit of production value. Like I got a song, I got a theme, I plan my shows out, I do songs in between. Sometimes I tell jokes. I do different kinds of content. I put thought into what I do. This is a podcast for me. This is something that, yeah, I would market. I am monetized now. By the way, I am accepting super chats. I mean, you know, that is what you do because when I get support on YouTube, YouTube makes money too. It's a win-win when you're on the platform, but you didn't take that paradigm. You haven't taken that paradigm. You want to skip that has legalities and taxes and things like that you account for if you start making enough money because it's a business. You signed up to be a partner. You know what, David? You could actually do Google's AdSense on your blog. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, you said you had 16K people reading your blog. Why aren't you putting advertisement on it? It's very easy. It's free. It's free to do it. There are ways to monetize yourself online legitimately to be a podcaster or a voice or an activist or whatever. But you are shady with it. You grift with it. And you put it on your PayPal and your Venmo, which I guarantee you're probably not paying taxes on it. If you make over $600, I know in the state of California through donations, after that, you got to claim taxes. You got to show your write-off of what counters that money that came to you. And I just bet you're not bothering doing that at all. Let's continue.
When that's not the case at all. I don't charge for my blog. The extended version of my book is free.
Why would you charge for your blog? I don't even know. I guess you can charge for a blog, but a blog is something that you put out there for the public to see for free. If you do special content, then you have a Patreon account or you have membership on YouTube or you give perks to your audience that you make money from. You sell your book. That is one revenue stream for you that you created for yourself, that you do all the time on your channel. Your whole reason to write the book was to make money, right, David? I mean, people don't write books not to make money. It's hard to make money from it. Or they write books to create a mythology around themselves so they can become this personality on the internet that they can freaking grift with.
On my blog. None of my videos are monetized. But I realized that taking blood money from these assholes in order to save my house would make me complacent and worse, complicit in the blood from trafficking children, just trafficking people in general, because it's not just children they're trafficking. They're trafficking anybody they fucking want. But children, you know, are the focus. And so they can say I'm a grifter, but if I'm a grifter, I'm really bad at it because I've given so much shit away. But the first...
His book, he did not give away. He makes money from it. His blog, people don't pay people to read your blog unless it's a porno site. If you have a paywall on your blog, you're probably doing something deceitful. Who would pay for David Shurter's blog? It's crap. Have you read it? It's not writing. It's a bunch of like screenshots and like talk in between it. Like it's a social media, like it's his own X account. It's his own version of his own platform to I don't know.
Being tempted by the devil was, could I take them up on their offer? If I don't come up with $2,500, I'm going to lose my house.
Same thing he said in this last video. Not that he's going to lose his house, but, you know, he's tempted. If I don't take, I wanted to take the money. Here we go.
I am. I'm going to end up being homeless, and then they're going to take me out. And they know it. I know it. They think they have me. And maybe they do. But what I had to come to terms with is I have to at least give God a chance. You know what I'm saying? I have to at least have faith.
So let's bring God into it. Let's bring God. I got to at least give God a chance.
Because every nasty fucking thing they've tried to do to me has failed thus far. And so, and I've seen God work miracles in my own life. And even if it came down to me losing this house.
Well, I wonder if he planned this out this morning. Like, I'm pretty sure he did. He's probably drinking his coffee, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to go here.
Which, over $2,500 is just, it's just so wrong. It's so wrong. But when I was going through the divorce at the beginning, I thought my life was over. And never could I have seen at the time how much I would blossom after the divorce. And so no matter what happens, I have faith. I have faith. And I'm not going to sell out to the devil. Yeah, it's $2,500.
I think you've already done that, actually, David. We're way past that point.
For taxes. I worked a year, so my taxes were high, and then they murdered my friend.
See, he said something about taxes, right?
$500.
Wait, hold on.
Could I have seen at the time how much I would blossom after the divorce? And so no matter what happens, I have faith. I have faith. And I'm not going to sell out to the devil. Yeah, it's $2,500 for taxes. I worked a year, so my taxes were high, and then they murdered my friend.
He worked a year and his taxes were high. Well, why don't you come back? Why don't you go back to work, David? Go back to work. You could have been working right now. You could have gotten a part-time job. Could have found something to help you pay your taxes off.
Which threw me off the edge for a while anyway, but then I've had to deal with just the bombardment of attacks. Them breaking into my house. Stealing that computer, you know? I can't.
And that's another thing that he does. He will go into all these other reasons that really don't have any association to the fact that he hasn't paid his taxes. These are his excuses. These are the other things that he's stressed about. So please give me some money.
Leave my house. They want to burn my house down. They post videos of it all the time. They send me shit all the time. That's the whole thing. And they have me isolated. And they think that, oh, me talking about Gabe Hoffman is what isolated me. No, them hanging flyers all over town, falsely calling me a pedophile with my address and my name and my picture, served to isolate me. That was what it was meant to do.
I don't recall him being isolated after he had the pictures and everything. He, was in the market. People were talking to him, saying this is really awful. That the town was rallying, for him on the injustice that happened to him. So he said he was becoming kind of like a hero in his town. So he wasn't isolated. He hasn't been isolated. He's been out and about. He's been isolated the last few days, for about 6 days, ever since we talked about his puppy. And he's going to talk about that a little bit later here in the stream, about how he beat his puppy and how he wrote about it in his book, Confessions of an Antichrist. And I did a video about it. And ever since then, he's kind of disappeared for a while. Because you know what, David? I think the fact that you're going to have to face is that, maybe we have an inhumane group of people, or people can be inhumane about another race and, say that there were no gas chambers or whatever. Like, it seems like humans can disregard other humans. But when it comes to a puppy, oh, that's a whole nother level. And I don't think David Shurter is going to recover from doing this. I really don't. And it got, a lot of, it's gotten a lot. It's on social media. It's up. An episode of my show talking about it is on Spotify. It is now in the ethos, in the internet. It's in the algorithm. And if that algorithm builds and it goes out, if that information goes out of this echo chamber, it's even more over for him. And he will look like the lying grifter that he really is. And on some level, I think he knows this. He knows it's over for him. He wants that $2,500. He's desperate.
It's all because they're hiding their child trafficking operation. So the second test that I went through this week was, I was told by someone, again, who's I value, it came from a couple people actually. I do call the police. My sheriff is involved. They know it. The sheriff does not help. Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross serves them, not me.
Here's the deal, David. The sheriff is never going to step in on this kind of stuff that happens on the internet. Trust me, I've tried to protect myself with the police as well. Now, I have gotten a few things. I did open a telephone harassment case. That did work in my favor. There were things that happened that when they came into my school realm and my work realm, that there were legal actions or Denise got served a cease and desist. There was a campus police report written on, an incident written. So you can get a trail on things, but it's really hard. They're not going to, it's this, whatever happens on the internet like this doesn't have the laws to back it. It has some laws they're building. So, but David's turned around and now his sheriff's is protecting pedos. You know what I'm talking about. It's now more fodder of why he is a targeted individual because of what he says. With the truth, the drops of truth that he's giving to you here on YouTube.
His deputies are the ones getting filmed hanging up those flyers in the square downtown.
And he's never provided any evidence for this. He said he had a video, then the video was taken down, and then he cannot corroborate his accusation, and yet he does it again relentlessly, like as if it's for you to know. He wants it. This is like truth for him, and he can't prove it.
His deputies, so the police are helping them, because they're involved with the meth operation. So they,
How are you affording your lemonade, David?
And all of this has been documented, because all of this bullshit has been going on for a little over 2 years. And it's all documented on this channel, and it's all documented on my blog. I've been doing this. It has been so in people's faces that it's been in so many people's faces that it's hard to, you know, it's hard to ignore. I've documented. People have seen it. They've watched it. So the second part was, I was told, well, why don't you just call ICE on the Mexican munchkin who's basically stole my glasses and then had to laugh at me about it? Because that's what they do. They, on both sides, they do their shit and then they taunt me. Because I guess they want me to have an emotional reaction out in public. I guess that's what they're looking for. I'm not going to give that to them. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. But that's how I know it's them, because they go out of their way to taunt me about it. And I was at the grocery store. I hadn't been there more than 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden the Mexican munchkin shows up. And so I had to think about that. And I realized that enlisting the devil to help me solve an issue that I have with one of my fellow men is also wrong. I could justify it in my anger and the fact that it's such a violation for them coming into my house whenever the fuck they want, doing whatever they want in my house. And it's such a violation that I could justify, oh, he deserves it. He deserves it. I have no relatives. All of them are dead, except one.
It's funny how he just goes, right, those are questions that were being asked him. I want to skip because he's going about how he would maybe call ICE on somebody. I want to get to his puppy.
Everything over $2,500. But I will never be complacent or complicit with this group of fucking child.
Okay, so, he's not going to be, child traffickers. I think it's somewhere in here.
Craig Sawyer works.
Okay.
More than willing to say that he was in Ohio. Thought it was, was CIA. Low lives who have no integrity and no sense of anything other than their own want. And the anger that they don't have what they feel they deserve.
It's like you.
Those people are easy to buy off.
That's you, David.
Get to do nasty shit.
That's you.
The people in my neighborhood aren't doing what they're doing because they are involved in their cause. They're doing it because they're getting paid. And they brag about it all the time.
Okay.
Border of Arizona. Told him the exact same thing. We knew exactly what would happen. He wouldn't listen.
Okay, it's going to come up.
What happened? Exactly what we told him would happen. They would show up at his door and he would not be happy when they did.
Okay.
Factored in what they added. I got nominated for Book of the Year. But if you're interested, you can read the extended version of Rabbit Hole. You can read everything I wrote for free on my blog, which I don't charge for. Again, if I'm a grifter, I'm really bad at it, because it's never been about making money. It's just that, I'm in a dire situation. Let alone I'm broke. I spent, someone donated. I actually got, a friend of mine donated, sent me about $30. I went to the store and bought 4 things, and it was $23.
Oh, you know what? There's also in this video, I'll source it. He says that Thomas Schoenberger, he thinks somebody who was Thomas Schoenberger gave him $10 and he gave it back. And we don't know if it's really Thomas Schoenberger now, but he does mention that Thomas Schoenberger tried, but I don't want to go to that right now.
4 things, and they weren't extravagant things either. One of them was a thing of barbecue sauce. It's on Amazon, so you can buy it on Amazon. You can also buy the audio version of it. But it's all on Amazon. So thank you. If I'm gonna probably get off here at this point, unless nobody donates. Usually just small, and that's fine because everyone's hurting. If you want to donate, right now it goes for food, unless someone donates $2,500 and then it will go completely to my taxes. But I don't see that happening. But I'll put the Buy Me a Coffee link in, and then my Amazon.
What?
It is a situation that I told Sherilyn.
This is it.
Urter, and the D and the
This
completely
is
to my
it.
taxes. But I don't see that happening. But I'll put the Buy Me a Coffee link in, and then my Amazon or my PayPal and my Venmo are both at D Shurter. So it's just capital D and then my last name, capital D, capital S, Hurter. And the D and the S are capitalized. The rest of it is small. That's my PayPal and my Venmo.
I went back a little too far. It's going to come up.
Right now it just goes for groceries. I will tell you the dog.
Like your lemonade.
You know what's irritating about that whole thing about them saying that I beat Sarah? It is a situation that I told Sherilyn. Of course, she's involved with the Famalam thing, along with my stepmother. So now they're going to run around. The whole story was, I don't ever abuse animals, and I only abused a dog once. And there was so...
Okay, I'm going to show you today that that's not true. All right, and I'm going to show you where I found the information. All right? I'm the only person that's done anything about this. I haven't seen any other streamers who talk about David touch this topic. So this is my reporting on him. And I'm going to show you where I found it. I'm going to show you what it actually really says, that he has abused dogs more than just this one time.
Extenuating. There was so many circumstances. There were issues around it. Hadn't slept 36 hours straight. I was exhausted from fucking doing huge manual labor as a banquet waiter for Easter weekend. And Sarah had eaten my floor. You know? I'm not mitigating the whole situation. It was an awful situation. But in my whole life, it's only ever happened once. And it was because I was near having a nervous breakdown.
He's rationalizing it for you guys. He's rationalizing. He's giving his excuses. It only happened once. It only happened once. And I was under all this stress and blah, 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 blah.
I was so exhausted. And, that floor. Sarah was a trip. She was what saved me, though. But that was the one.
The dog that he beat saved him. Wow.
The only time ever, you know?
That's the only time ever,
Then
you
they'll
know?
run and
That's the only time ever, you know?
say that I fucking molested that. Hester's, Eric's name isn't Hester, by the way. It's Brad's. But Eric is 3 years younger than I am, and Mark is 8 years younger than I am. But they're running around trying to suggest that I molested my nephews when they were children, when I was an adult. How is that even possible?
Nobody's ever done that, David. Everybody's always said that you were 12, 13 years old, or where the number changes, but nobody's ever accused you of doing that as an adult.
One is 3 years younger than I am, less than 3 years younger.
Again, he's rationalizing. Fact of the matter is, yeah, he did do that when he was, 12, 13 years old. And, as a minor, you cannot be charged with that crime. And it probably indicates that David was actually molested himself. Because usually that's how that does. But what it also may show is that since you did it when you were, at 13 or 12, a tween or whatever, that you may still have those tendencies or those desires yourself as an adult. And who's to say that you did not act that out as an adult? See, that's where that kind of through line comes from, because that is how the pattern happens. The abuse that happens in families is generational. It's passed down. Because of being abused, the abused one becomes the abuser.
Than I am, and one is 8 years younger than I am. So how did I have a time machine? But that's the kind of bullshit I have to deal with. Also, that they can try and discredit me and protect their fucking child trafficking operation.
See, that's the pattern that David has. Like he makes an excuse of what everybody might, or how people might have presented something to the public, or made commentary on, or reported on, or whatever, documented. This is why I want to explain to you why it's not as bad as it sounds. And then I'm going to redirect the conversation and come back to these people that are saying about me are child traffickers. And they're all they're trying to do is to trying to protect their child trafficking ring. That's the manipulation. That's the manipulation for you to give him a donation, because that we are related to the fact that he can't pay his taxes on his house. And this group has been doing it together for, it's a pattern of the grift. So I'm going to take a break here, and we're going to come and I'm going to read some stuff about I'm going to read some stuff from his book, and I'm going to show you what it says in his book, and that how he has abused his dogs more than once. He abused Sarah. He smacked her and kicked her more than once. And I'm going to play a song here and take a brief break. Wait, I forgot to share. Let me share it. All right. Here we go. We're going to get it right. Today is October 25th, and it is 12:48 p.m. We'll be right back with more Not My Rabbit Hole.
When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest bed. When I lay me down to die, I'm going up to the Twinkie in the, going on up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. I die. I'm gonna bite the snack that I love best. Prepare yourself, you know it's a must. Gotta have a Twinkie if you wanna trust. Just saying, Lordy, I'm so spread. Gonna meet the Twinkie in the sky. Never been a sinner. I've got a sweet tooth. I got an orange sponge cake, a creamy truth. So when I die, don't ask me why. I'm going G up to the Twinkie in the sky. Going on up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest, best.
All right, that is a Twinkie in the Sky. It's dedicated to David Shurter, and this is from my AI music channel, Astral Record 698 and you can find it on suno.com. So I upload special songs that I create for shows here on Not My Rabbit Hole. And if you like some of my songs, some people do, they like some of my songs sometimes. So all right, so the first thing I want to do before in this other half of Not My Rabbit Hole that we're coming upon, I want to share where I found the information of David Shurter's how I found out about what he did to his dog. And so this is from a dangerous, deranged David Shurter on YouTube, and they posted this on their community page about 7 days ago. And then I, commented, David Shurter wrote that he beat his puppy in his book, Rabbit Hole. Wow, so disturbing. Well, I was wrong on that. It was actually in his, I should change that. It's in his book, Confessions of an Antichrist, which is the second book. All right. And you can find that on the Internet Archives, which is what this link is right here. So it says David Shurter repeatedly beat and kicked his newly adopted puppy named Sarah. He almost beat Sarah to death in front of his friend. Shurter admitted this in his book. Just imagine what violent acts Shurter has not publicly admitted. And it says reference page 8889. And here is the link. So, I copy and pasted the link, and I went to the Internet Archive, and where you can read it for free, the book, and I went to page 88 and 89. And I've read it already on my channel, but I'm going to read it again. Okay. And there's also a YouTube video to watch that they sourced here. Let me click onto that for a second. Oh yeah, so this is him talking about his nephew, which a lot of people have shared. And you know what? I'll go ahead and just share this for a minute because it is relative to the conversation. Let's go back because he talked about it again today and how he's being unfairly framed. So he didn't just molest his 3-year-old nephew, he actually beat them too. And this is his admittance. So what we're looking at is the violent tendencies that David Shurter has on animals and people, including children.
Episode. So they made me light someone on fire when I was 10. And as you can imagine, I became pretty much out of control. My parents, my dad, and my stepmother couldn't control me. So they decided to take me up and dump me.
I'm going to go back and it's low, so I want to make sure you can read the words. Hold on, let's go back.
Episode. So they made me light someone on fire when I was 10. And as you can imagine, I became pretty much out of control. My parents, my dad, and my stepmother couldn't control me. So they decided to take me up and dump me at my sister Kathy's house in Minneapolis. And so when I was 12, I ended up attacking her 3-year-old son. I was 12, he was 3. Doug keeps wanting to say that, you molested him. There was some of that because I was acting out, but for the most part, I beat the fuck out of him. And
okay, so you heard that, right? It's pretty shocking that that is his explanation of that's his explanation. I hope you saw that. Let me just make sure. Anyway, I'm going to do another screen share here. Yeah, you saw it. I remember. That's not what I want. I want that. Take that one off. All right, we got it. So this is page 88 in David Shurter's book, Confessions of an Antichrist, where he talks about Syrah. So I'm gonna read it. Let me get my glasses really quick so I can read it. Give me just a second here, guys, and grabbing my cheaters. All right. It says, although I completely adored her, she was nonetheless a handful, both physically and emotionally, nothing more than a small child. She depended on me in a way I desperately needed, and I grew to value our relationship more than I ever knew I could. Compelling me to be stable and reliable because whereas I didn't have to eat every day, she did. I finally pushed myself to get a job. So he's talking about getting his puppy, Syrah. My mother and Syrah took to each other the minute they met, and surprising the hell out of me, she declared that Syrah was meant to be my dog and insisted that I not abandon her. I moved into an apartment about 6 blocks from my mother's place, and I'd often take Syrah for walks, and that generally ended at my mom's when she was sober, making dinner, and later watching Murder, She Wrote 2020 and the myriad of mystery shows my mother enjoyed. I listened to her talk about her soaps as if they were real people, recapping her shows as if they were part of her day's events. And although we never spoke of the past, we once again started to allow ourselves to become close. I found work as a waiter, a job that I actually kept for some time, but although the pay was good, the hours were intense and the work laborious. And I often came home tired and stressed, knowing that Syrah was waiting for me as comfort, and it was the thought of losing her that forced me out of bed and off to work in the mornings. In the beginning, I was unfortunately quite abusive with her. So we just saw a video where David Shurter said it was just this one time that he beat her, and it was based because he was so exhausted. He was, doing this and that, blah, 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 blah. And, he realized that it was the one thing that made him never do it again, it improved him. She taught him a lesson of what unconditional love is from a puppy, right? So because this is what he's saying, right? So in the beginning, I was unfortunately quite abusive with her. A rambunctious puppy, she often found herself in trouble, having a severe problem with anger. I'd often smack her with my hands or kick her, even while wearing shoes, ignoring her flinches. So that's proof right there that it wasn't a one-time incident. He was continuously abusing his puppy. It all came to a head when I almost killed her. It was Easter weekend, and I worked 15 hours, gone home to sleep 5 hours, only to return to work another 18 hours. Tearing down and setting up banquet after banquet, I was beyond tired and to the point of near dementia. So a coworker who was on the verge of becoming a friend gave me a ride home. So it wasn't even a friend yet still. David just said, I believe in his video, that it was like friends witnessed it. So now there's a coworker who was on the verge of becoming a friend. When we walked into my apartment and I saw that Syrah had basically destroyed my kitchen, having dug up and chewed most of the linoleum to pieces, I flipped out, beating her severely in front of my friend, never once considering how it may look. Later, I discovered a huge knot on her head, so large I was surprised I hadn't killed her. Declaring this to be the last time, I vowed to myself that I would never again touch her in anger. But at work, the damage had already been done. Horrified, my coworker told everyone what he had witnessed, and word began to go around that I was violent, paranoid, that people were judging me. My days became numbered as I once again began to fade into myself. One thing that I have learned is that lasting impressions can last longer than you want. And though I was deeply sorry and incredibly embarrassed for what happened, regret rarely matters when you are fodder for gossip. Years later in therapy, I learned that we often act upon the beliefs of our self-perceptions. Believing myself to be a bad person, I was acting in ways to prove self-perception. The good news is that my relationship with Sarah transcended all of that in a way that allowed me to start learning how to trust myself, teaching me forgiveness and patience. Sarah had gone through everything I had put her through, and yet adored me all the same. As my constant loving companion, she offered me a relationship that would continue to heal me until she died of old age when I was in my 30s. God often speaks in strange ways. Sarah may have been only a dog, but she was the first being to teach me about unconditional love, a gift from the universe. She helped me to realize that God wasn't finished with me while helping to renew my faith as a living example of an answered prayer. And he talked a lot about faith today, didn't he? That, he should put his faith in God, and he believes, and he believes. And so that is why I think that David Shurter is a grifter. And we're gonna take a quick break. I want to pull up, there's a song, the first song that I ever wrote about David Shurter grifting. It's one of my early songs I ever created on my Astral record 6980. I just want to play it really good. I want to play it because it's super punk rock, and I think it's appropriate for today. I know this isn't it. Wait. Maybe I took it down. Wait, maybe it's this one. No, that's my song. Oh, it isn't here. It's not punk rock. But anyways, this is the more pleasant version one. All right, I guess we get pleasant.
Bunny for the money, grifter, drifter, money shifter, donate, because I lie and cry, and that's the reason why. shifter, donate, because I lie and cry, and that's the reason why.
You know, I think I made a video. I think I made a video out of the one that I really want to play. I could probably look that other one up. We'll see if I do that here in a second, because like what the next thing I want to get into is the whole Mossad Media Matrix thing, and how I never said Mossad Media Matrix, and I want to reiterate, this is where I think this is coming from, because back in July, I played Brackets and Jackets, and I was listening to it, and I was doing commentary on it, and I stopped at the part where Isaac Cappy raps Mossad Media Matrix, and then I saw that, like, it seemed like there was a link to Gabe Hoffman. We're gonna go back and look at it, and then I found out, because Corey Daniel was in my chat, and I talked to him afterwards and everything like that. That Brackets and Jackets wasn't a written song by Isaac Cappy. He was riffing off of like suggestions that were happening in the chat, and because of the crossover of David using a white nationalist anti-Semite named Travis LeBlanc on X, using his information and his Kiwi Farms link, because of that, I was pointing out how this happened with Isaac Cappy, that there were these accusations that were going on, or a myth that there was a Mossad Media Matrix, or there were people associated with the Mossad, things like this, right? And so it's interesting that David, that he gets that email, that he gets accused of doing that by a random email that I showed earlier on the stream, that you can see in the screenshot. It's this random comment or whatever about how he's guilty for associating Gabe Hoffman to the Mossad Media Matrix. And I just thought I would like play a little bit of Brackets and Jackets and like take a look at it. I like Brackets and Jackets, and it's viral, and I think it's really cool that he was like rapping to suggestions, and revealing this whole song kind of encompasses the mythology of the 17th letter of the alphabet, or the belief system of what was thought to be happening at that time, which is during the Trump administration, the first one. So let's look.
Hello, guys, something special is happening in here. That's right, it's Brackets and Jackets, bringing it back for Brackets and Jackets, special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see, this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out.
By the way, he was able to fund a lot of people because he was in charge, or had access to Les Wexner's trust. He was like he was in control of it. So a lot of the money that he gave to like Jean Brunel, or different people for their endeavors was coming from that source. Actually, like a lot of the money that Jeffrey Epstein had was really not his money per se. I mean, he did have money though.
That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot
And we're still talking about the records. But now what's blocked it is, the Trump administration.
of people. Oh boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America.
There we go. He's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. So right there, he's associated Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, he does have he was Mossad intelligence, but not only is he Mossad intelligence, but he has it's a whole media, a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And so therefore, in a way, the people that he's talking, he is connecting to that right there. And does that assumption belong in this narrative, in this capacity? And when I talk about an ideology of a group of people, this is part of the ideology of the belief that about Jeffrey Epstein, or about the elite trafficking children, or who's behind it. And who's behind it, I'm sure on the QAnon chart or whatever, there's a link to Mossad Media Matrix.
And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong.
So now Alex Jones is one of them. Prove him wrong. So somebody suggest that in the chat, and now he's going to add Alex Jones in it. But Alex Jones kind of dissed Alex and his narrative. So obviously there is that, he must be dissatisfied. What a great way to blame what Alex Jones thought of his credibility by saying that he was part of the Mossad Media Matrix.
That's right. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Brackets and Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also Epstein.
And it's interesting too about Steve Bannon's relation to Jeffrey Epstein, which is coming out. That I think Michael Wolff has been talking about that. But you heard him say the Florida boys and the money and this and that, and an investor and this and everything. So he's equating things. He does mention Gabe Hoffman here, though. I want to get to that point.
Is Epstein Oprah? Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein?
Well, we thought Kash Patel knew too before he became FBI director, but apparently he doesn't know anymore, right?
Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell?
Now, who exposed Bryan Singer? That was Gabe Hoffman.
Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. See, here's something that really made a kind of weird epiphany to me today, is when I figured out that Gabe Hoffman lives in West Palm Beach, Florida.
And there you go. There you go. So he peppered it by setting up West Palm Beach, Florida, by being associated. But now he's going to get into Gabe Hoffman, Mossad Media Matrix. Here we go. Let's go back a little bit.
Is when I figured out that Gabe Hoffman lives in West Palm Beach, Florida, and is an investor in West Palm Beach, Florida, and had a documentary about this guy, Bryan Singer. But isn't Bryan Singer Epstein as well? Were they maybe setting up a little play for this guy, Bryan Singer? Maybe they didn't even bring him down to where the real shit was happening. They always had a fall guy to take him out. That's kind of where my mind's going. Prove me wrong.
Okay, so the theory is...
Prove me wrong.
Is that in order to delegitimize the, Gabe Hoffman's work or exposing, is that it's just a front. Somebody's going to go down because there's a lot of stuff going on anyways. And we're talking about, actors being abused in Hollywood, right? Because I remember doing the Hollywood, the march against Hollywood pedophilia that I live streamed. I didn't do the march. I live streamed it. I documented it on my other YouTube channel. So at that time, and Isaac Cappy had a lot to do with that, because when he came on the scene, he was outing Hollywood. Seth Green, remember? His wife Claire, hanging out with Dane Cook. And then it got, by the time he went to Alex Jones, he was claiming Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. But see, Steven Spielberg's people were already speculating that before he came on. So it wasn't, he should never claim it. He shouldn't even claim, like, I don't even think there's nothing that Isaac Cappy said where he was a whistleblower to any of this, other than bringing in Seth Green in the picture. That was something that was, but everything else was already being talked about or speculated or conspiratorial. The Tom Hanks thing came from Ruth Ashcraft, who is also, who is she really? She was a Twitter personality disclosing this.
What about Alex Jones? Who else is Epstein funding? The guy was friggin' loaded. So
all these people, he's just thrown a whole, and apparently, these are suggestions that he's getting on while he was on that platform that's no longer here anymore. So I wanted to make that point. I know that, for a lot of people that think that something really special happened there in making people aware and awake of what's going on. Maybe it did in a roundabout way, because he was obvious, he reached numbers in that message, but it didn't originate from him. And he added people that didn't deserve to be there, just like what David Shurter does. So that being said, I'm going to wish everybody well. I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say today about the matter of David Shurter and everything that's going on. And what my take is on Up My Rabbit Hole about all of these guys, all of these trolls, these LARPers, these grifters. And I find it, pretty interesting that there is an underbelly of racism and anti-Semitism that's tinged within the echo chamber of this group. Have a great day.
pursue.